inside day, if you go to the 4 hours and so far, you can see that we are kind of like crossing down at 4 hours. So there's a possibility of breaking that symmetrical triangle. It has a symmetrical triangle on the hourly. Not such a crazy support. We only had 2 candles basically bouncing from there. But if you move a little more close, you can see that we have a little more candles. So I'm gonna leave it here because in that way it can give us a little more confirmation if it breaks down. Levels on this one, I'm gonna be looking at 960 for calls. If we break down one, the next one is gonna be 970, and after that we're gonna have 974. I think over 970 we're gonna be out of that symmetrical triangle, so we're gonna gain a little more momentum and test the top of the big trend. Dropping down, I think if we trigger those 944, big possibility of probably reversing back to 9. I don't think this is gonna happen tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna take a swing for next week. They have earnings. Let's see. I think they have earnings next week, Monday 31st. So 2 weeks. But yeah, I think if we get a little rejection here and we cross down the 4 hours, we're definitely gonna actually see a little more sell-off. Did I saw some flow on this one? I think there was some calls. There's this one that came in today on 955. It's clearly at the same price. Let's take a look at something else. What about this one? 50-50. 11C for 2 days out. They sold to the bid. A lot of actually those sold to the bid, but it's extremely far out. Actually, no, it's deep in the money. Never mind. It's weird. Yeah, I don't see anything else. Everything is actually kind of 50-50. I do like it a lot, again, because of the inside day and because it's also testing the top of the trend. So maybe we see a small rejection around here. Alright, so 960 for calls, 949 for puts. That's where we actually bounced from today, midday. Alright, next one is gonna be GM. Probably my favorite for tomorrow. We always do good on GM. I think the last time I called GM, I ended up doing like 600%, some crazy shit. You see? It's been actually holding pretty good compared to 4. So I think maybe there's a possibility of breaking down on this one. The last time that I called GM, I ended up doing 496%. Jesus. Alright, anyway, if we go to GM right now, sorry. If we go to GM right now, we kind of like have a channel or megaphone on the hourly, currently testing the top of it. Hourly is actually pretty high, so the possibility of rejection around here is actually high. I think if we reject and trigger to the downside, I think the main target is gonna be the bottom of that trend, which is basically at 38.50. Levels on this one, I'm gonna be looking at 39.20 for calls. I think if we break that, we're actually gonna be out of that trend, and it's gonna give us a little more momentum to the upside. Anyway, next one is gonna be 39.46, and after that, we're gonna go to 39.68. For puts, I'm gonna wait for those 38.90. If you wanna risk it, just go for a break at those 39, which is around here. But I think there's more space to run under those 38.90. Anyway, on the down one, the next one is gonna be 38.75, and after we're gonna go to 38.65. Let's take a look at 4 hours 1 sec. We're crossing up, so there's a possibility of actually breaking up. All right, so let's take a look at flow on this one. I think I saw some bullish flow on this one. Yeah, this one over here. 42C, they bought 2,000 contracts at the ask, at the opening. Then they kind of like went 50-50. They sold some to the bid and bought more ask. But so far, this candle, the person that actually got into this position is still holding. Let's take a look at those 42C. More heavy bullish flow. That's from when? 93 days out. What about this one? More. So yeah, looks like this person, this two, is probably the same person. Some puts bought. So yeah, it can go either way. It can go either way. But so far, I think since the 4 hours actually crossing up, there's a possibility of breaking up. So keep an eye on this one for sure. I think it's my favorite for tomorrow. It has an inside day. One of the reasons that I'm actually choosing it for today. Also gap to fill between 39.91 and 39.53. Alright, last one is gonna be Micron. It basically did a 3 up yesterday and it didn't have continuation. Ended up actually having an inside candle. We go to the 4 hours right now. It's kind of like bearish. Looks like that we might actually have or form a kind of like an inverse head and shoulder. You can see here, shoulder, head, shoulder. So I think there's a possibility of triggering to the upside and breaking this level, those 65.54. 4 hours right now is actually bearish, but if you look at the selling pressure, it's kind of like diminishing right now compared to the previous 2 cycles. I'm talking about this cycle compared to this one and this one. So I think if we cross to the upside, there's a big possibility of having an insane run. I think it's the only one regarding chips that are kind of like lagging. If you look at AMD, ended up actually running pretty hard 2 days ago, and Micron kind of like stay at the same place. I think chips are also kind of like ready to move. So Nvidia is up 2.2% today. So maybe we see a nice move up on this one tomorrow. Premiums are a little risky on this one, but they're extremely cheap compared to AMD. Alright, so going to levels on this one, I'm gonna be looking at 64.93 for calls. Breakdown on the next one is gonna be 65.14. And after that, we're gonna go to 65.28. I think if we trigger at 65.14, I think we're probably gonna go to the top of the trend and break it out. That's what I think on this one. For puts, 65.50. Let me put it down a little. Under that, we're gonna go to 64.50. Under that, we're gonna go to 64.14, and then after we're gonna go to the bottom of the trend, 63.79. It's kind of like a weird, also double top formation, even though this top is actually a little higher. But the 1 hour might actually get a cross down, and maybe even opening, we're probably gonna see like a little gap down and then start reversing on the 4 hours. Let's take a look at flow on this one. Alright, so we had this 7C that were sold to the bid. They're really cheap. They got some puts, 65 puts. At the end of the day, they sold them to the bid, 548. Small position also. What about you? Yeah, mostly 50-50. So yeah, I think. What about this 47.50? Sold to the bid. Also the end of the day. So yeah, it looks like there's some selling, bid selling. So they're kind of like betting for a reversal. What about you? Yeah, 1,000 sold to the bid at 485 each. Yeah, looks like this one is actually pretty interesting because it's for 290 days out, 240 days out. So yeah, that one looks actually pretty interesting. So yeah, it looks like everything, most of the stuff actually, most of the big stuff is pointing for a move up. So maybe we see a trigger at that inverse head and shoulder and move up to the 70 area at the next, I don't know, 2 weeks, who knows. But it looks good. It looks really good. But yeah, for now I'm gonna go with GM as my favorite. I'm holding some SoFi, so you know what is it I put in on my second one, and I like Micron. So when they have earnings, no, they just have earnings. Never mind. Alright, so yeah, I think those are the 3 I'm gonna be actually looking at for tomorrow. SPY ended up actually breaking the ascending triangle on the hourly. Probably gonna have a small consolidation around here tomorrow, and maybe keep going to the upside. 4 hours actually bullish right now. So there's also the possibility I want to show you guys before we go, because if you look at this over here, if we don't get a lot of buying pressure on this cycle, there might be the possibility of forming a kind of like a double top with a bearish divergent. So I'm probably gonna keep an eye on this. If we get a rejection on here, we're definitely gonna form more double top with bearish divergent. So, but yeah, the main thing is to check that buying pressure on the 4 hours for sure. All right, so I hope it's not so flattish tomorrow. Even though we did good today, I think we can do better. But again, since it's earnings week, it's better just to be on the side a little and just follow the stuff that we really like. Also regarding stop losses, I'm being a little more strict this week, and it's probably gonna be the same for our next one too. So yeah, for sure, I'm gonna be a little more careful this week and the next one. All right, so GM, my favorite, SoFi, and then Micron. Thank you guys for passing by, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the stream. Take care.